Gerone Wright here, and once again you're joining me on my Gerone Wright YouTube channel here on YouTube. In this video, I'm going to be back in space where my mind has been at for some days here now, and I'm going to do a series of videos relating to the P67 Comet, which the space explorers have just now landed on back in November on their first 10-year mission in flight to this object, where they landed a probe onto this this comet. Now, this is not the first time that this has happened. I believe that NASA some time ago crash landed a probe into a comet. And then we have this successful mission here with the Rosetta mission, where they landed a probe on a comet. You know, for the likes of me, I can't even envision something. This object is supposed to be traveling at some 85,000 miles per hour, and for the life of me, I can't see how, I can't even realize the grasp reality of how an object like a probe can first catch up with this comet, which is supposed to be moving at 85,000 miles per hour, and then orbit this object and then come to a land. I mean, completely amazing, because I just can't, I can't grasp reality of it, because how can, but I'm not even going to try to go there, you know what I mean, because I know you'll have eggheads and whatever trying to say, well, this here, by principle of Murphy's Law and due to the laws of physics, if you intercept an object, you can cut it off at the, no, screw that. I'm not even going to go there. But I just find it in my mind that I can't even grasp the reality. I know they done it, but I just have a problem believing that this object traveling at 85,000 miles per hour, another object from an alien world, which is Earth, comes flying in, orbit this object, and then lands successfully without crashing. As all at this object moving at 85,000 miles an hour. Amazing, right? Yeah, it just doesn't reason with me. I can't grasp the reality of it. You know, because if this object is moving, I mean, what happens? Do you get caught up into this atmosphere? This thing has an atmosphere where you collide with this thing's atmosphere, and once inside of the atmosphere of it, you're at its speed. You're traveling at 85,000 miles per hour. That's just like me jumping, going out to a highway, a local freeway, and the car is traveling at 100 miles an hour, and I time it right, and they have their window down, and as the car is driving by, I can jump from the location that I am on, riding a bicycle or whatever, or just running at let's say 5 miles an hour, and their window is down, and I time it right and jump in like kids playing jump rope, and I can jump in and be in time and in tune with this thing. You see what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense. But anyway, this is the reason why I'm back here with this video. These objects are being interrupted by Earthlings. This is the second time that this has actually occurred. Now, the comet, in my mind, and I'm not no scientist, I'm far from even understanding the reason behind these comets even being in existence. The only reason why I'm here with you today is through my paranormal experience and encounter, which draws me to these objects, and I bring in a logical sense of input based on my paranormal experience and encounter and my understanding. That's it. This comet in space is on a balanced cycle, meaning that just like our world is in orbit with the sun and its cycle, everything is in space is in a cycle, and like a ring of containment, meaning that this comet is expected to be on a rotating course, or should I say, in a balanced rotation of course. So every 200 plus years, this comet would be expected to come back to the same location to where our space explorers landed this probe Philae, the probe name was Philae, onto this comet. So it's almost like you being dropped off. You can, like how you expect for your kid to get on at the bus at the same point and place on the corner every day during the same specific time. This is the same thing that this is happening. If you were in space at a specific point, you could almost be as certain that another 200 years down the line, if you're still in that same place, that comet would return and see you there at that same spot. Now, we also know that due to the laws of physics, now this is the story based on what science tells us about this comet, about this return, this cycle of this cyclination that this comet is on. Now, the next thing about all of this that we know through the balanced laws of physics, that if here's a pen and I got a staple on the other end there. If I balance this pen on my finger, if I balanced it on just one finger, I can't do it because I'm reaching around, that we know that a feather placed on either end of this perfectly balanced pen in my hand would actually cause the pen to weigh in to one side or another. So a feather could imbalance, the lightness of a feather could imbalance a balanced object. This is what I'm driving at. So now, this object in space, this comet P67 is on a balanced cyclination in its journey through space, almost like the wheel on your car spinning in rotation. It's on a balanced journey with the vessel that it is on. Now, we take this object, this probe Philae, it's supposed to be weighed in. When it took off from Earth, it was 220 some odd pounds, so they say. And by the time, I'm assuming that it landed on here, it dismantled, and the landing part of this thing was supposed to have been 45 pounds. Now, I have a weight here. This is a 30-pound weight right there, dumbbell. Okay, which is about 15 pounds shy of that 45 pounds. Now, 45 pounds, people, is very heavy. It's a weight. It's a lot of weight, especially when you're dealing with dead weight. Now, we have a balanced comet, which is a mile by mile, whatever, wide and big, that's on a balanced journey. It's been on a balanced journey. And you have an object now placed on it, baggage, that weighs in the excess of 40, 45, maybe 50 pounds. This object rotates, it spins, it moves, it's on this journey. It's carrying its own weight. So when you take and add weight to anything, it changes the velocity of the travel and direction that the object is moving. For example, here's this rock. I can throw this rock at a distance based on its size and its weight that is here, and it'll go a distance. But if I place a dime, which I just done, on top of the rock and attach it there, then it cuts back, or it affects the traveling velocity of this rock. So my point here, people, is that space explorers are affecting the traveling, the weight, the velocity of these objects by placing probes on them. Meaning that it may not have an immediate effect of the journey or the destiny of this object, but the overall distance and time travel of this object is affected directly, according to the laws of physics, by the weight added to this object, by aliens, which were, in this case, Earthlings. Do you understand what I'm saying, people? Even if this object, that weighted object, that probe placed on this P67 comet weighed, I mean, if it weighed in at 50, let's say 50 pounds, as they say, over a distance, imagine just not even a fraction of a decimal, of just a minute change in anything, in the imbalance. Just imagine that over that period, over its travel, that it becomes greater and greater and greater. So where this object at one point could have missed hitting something by thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of miles, it is now in danger and in threat of hitting the object maybe 100 years from now down the line, because it now carries a 45-pound weight on itself, which in balance its original course of trajectory. It's almost like taking a protractor of measurement and taking it, let me put my hand up here, and that object was placed on here. Let me put this up. That object was placed on, where are we at here? Here's the rock. Let's play this as the comet. It was placed here. And the comet is traveling on a straight path. But as the path now goes, it widens and it widens slowly. So maybe 200 or 300 years down the line, whereas this comet was on a true course on its own, based on its own weight, it was traveling. It is now affected by the weight that was out. And in fact, let's let it's going down, and eventually it runs into something. Now, you have to know that this is not even being discussed by scientists or anybody in the mainstream, that this added weight has now been put on this and has now caused this object to be imbalanced. So therefore, you have to wonder. Now, you have the best of minds. Now, they have to be the best of minds to send an object from our planet and land it on an object which is traveling at its speed of 85,000 miles per hour. They have to know that anything that is in travel in a perfect balance, anytime you add weight to it, it imbalances that object. But this is not being discussed. Is this being done purposely to cause some type of cataclysmic event down the line? Will this cause this object to run into Earth maybe 200, 400 years from now? The trajectory measurement of what has happened, this true course of this object now can be measured based on 45 pounds of weight added to it, and it's being altered. Now the course is being altered. You can measure it from the time, from its current past, is from its past and current points of travel, to them now being altered based on the weight that has been added to that. Now, not just this object, but also the object dealing with what NASA crash landed on that comet as well too. Are these objects being affected? Then you know what I say? I say yes, and the answer is a profound yes, because just through the laws of physics and our own common sense and knowledge, we know that anything that picks up luggage, it changes its traveling characteristics. Point blank. You take a weight, your car wheel. They add weight to your car wheels, wheel balancers, to balance the wheel. Everything has a balance and cause effect. Again, you take this pen, you balance it on your fingers. If you put a feather on one end, just a feather, it causes the pen to tilt one way or the other. We are talking about 45 pounds of weight, people, on an object that is perfectly balanced in space on a traveling course. One of the things that I am accusing space explorers of doing is altering what is happening in space through this hidden knowledge and what is going on. But this right here, people, is definitely on point, and it points the finger directly at everything that I'm going to have to put more in writing. My time is up. I'm going to end the video.